Belize is the country where the money is easy math, the sea is 50 shades of turquoise, and your neighbor might be a toucan. Today, I'm walking you through exactly how to retire here. Visas, housing, healthcare, banking, taxes, shipping your stuff, and all the things to avoid. So, you can trade your snow shovel for a snorkel without chaos. Belize has two main doors for retirees. One says, I have a pension and want perks now. The other says, I'll live here a year and become a resident. Which door fits you? Who qualifies? Age 40 plus with $2,000 per month or $24,000 per year in foreign-sourced retirement, income, pension, Social Security, annuity, investments, etc. You must spend 30 consecutive days in Belize each year. Why retirees love it? Perks. Belize residency card, multi-entry, renewed annually. Duty-free import within first year of personal or household effects, no dollar cap, one vehicle 5 years old or newer, one boat or light aircraft. You are able to replace the vehicle every 3 to 4 years after proper disposal of the previous vehicle. No Belize tax on foreign-sourced income, exemptions from capital gains and inheritance taxes. Business plan, invest 1 million Belize dollars or 500,000 US dollars, employ 5 Belizeans, and show 90 days residence. After 5 years as QRP, you can be eligible for permanent residency. Application basics. Passport, police record less than 6 months, proof of income plus bank statements, birth or marriage certificates, medical, program and card fees apply. For example, card issuance and annual renewal. Apply via the Belize Tourism Board, BTB. Mini checklist, passport, police record from the past 6 months, income proof of $2,000 per month or $24,000 per year, bank statements, birth or marriage certificates, medical fees. QRP timing. Many applicants can complete the BTB side of approvals in a few months if documents are complete. Customs duty exemptions on your goods apply during the first year after QRP approval. Confirm current processing with BTB when you apply. Before you sell the house and ship the couch, do a test drive. Plan a 3 to 6 week scouting trip before committing. Visit multiple towns. The vibe in Corozal is totally different from Ambergris Caye. Try different styles of living, beach town, jungle village, city apartment. Meet with a lawyer, real estate agent, and maybe a doctor during your trip. Use that trip to decide on QRP versus PR, rental versus buy, and what belongings you'll actually ship. Pro tip. Most retirees say their scouting trip changed their plan. Almost no one ends up living where they originally thought they would. Okay, here are some fast facts. If you want to live legally in Belize for 1 year, you need to be absent less than or equal to 14 days total during that year. You'll also have to prove your financial stability and good character. After that, you can apply to immigration for permanent residency or PR. So why would you choose PR? Well, you can work without a permit, you don't have to deal with monthly visa renewals, and PR is a path to citizenship later on. A lot of expats actually go from monthly tourist extensions to PR. Just a quick reality check though. Processing can take many months, so you'll need to plan on being patient and following up regularly. Immigration does publish the rule set, but timelines can really vary. So which option should you pick? If you need the perks right now and have pension income, you might want to look at the QRP. But if you want full work rights and a path to citizenship, PR is the way to go. Beach, reef, jungle, or maybe a border town bargain. Belize might be tiny, but each pocket really does have a totally different vibe. Ambergris Cay, especially San Pedro, is your classic reef town and the most developed island. It's got nightlife, diving, and higher prices. You can expect to pay around $1,200 to $2,000 or more to rent a decent 1 to 2 bedroom near town. Caye Caulker has this super chill, walkable, go slow energy, and it's great for smaller budgets than San Pedro, though there are fewer services. Placencia Peninsula offers those long beaches and a growing restaurant scene. 1-bedroom coastal rentals, there often start around $1,200, and houses go for more. Corozal, which is near Mexico, and Chetumal is quiet and has value rents. Think about $500 to $900. And it's an easy hop to Mexico's big box stores and hospitals. Over in San Ignacio, in the Cayo district, you'll find a river and jungle town with markets and Maya sites. 2-bedroom inland rentals usually start around $600 to $1,200. And finally, Belize City has the best private hospitals and services. But honestly, a lot of retirees prefer the suburbs or islands because of the crime perception. So, a lot of expats actually rent for 6 to 12 months before jumping into buying, just to get a feel for the seasons and different neighborhoods. When you do decide to buy, there's something called a transfer stamp tax. And for foreigners, it's usually around 8%, though the first $10,000 US are exempt. Definitely make sure to budget for this in your numbers. And, property tax is pretty low, often about 1% of the unimproved land value, but it does vary by municipality. So, you might pay just a few US dollars or maybe a few hundred annually, depending on your location and what your property's assessed at. Belize can be really affordable, at least until you try to run every air conditioner like you're chilling a supermarket freezer. Seriously, those utility bills can add up fast. When it comes to groceries, local produce, eggs, and chicken are actually a good value, but imported goods, cheeses, cereal, and branded snacks are going to cost more, especially if you're on the islands. Electricity rates, residential tariff bands usually run about 33 to 43 Belize cents per kilowatt hour, which is roughly 16.5 to 21.5 US cents at the 2-to-1 peg. So if you love your air conditioner, just plan for that in your budget. Internet is getting better with fiber expanding, but speeds really depend on your town and your ISP. Always check the actual address before you sign anything. And for sample rents, inland you're looking at about $600 to $1,200 US dollars for a 2-bedroom, while coast or islands will run you $1,200 or more for a 1-bedroom near the action. So retirement doesn't have to mean zero income. Belize actually gives you quite a few options. While the QRP, or Qualified Retired Persons Program, technically prohibits employment, you can still run an online business, do some consulting, freelancing, or even e-commerce, as long as it's based outside of Belize. You could also buy and operate a local business, like a cafe, a bed and breakfast, or even a tour company, if you get the right permits. And investing in rental properties is super popular. A lot of retirees buy small duplexes or Airbnb units for some extra income. Oh, and here's a pro tip. If you plan to earn income locally, you might want to consider permanent residency instead of QRP, because that gives you full work rights. Think of Belize healthcare kind of like a toolbox. You've got your basic tools right at home, and then for specialty tools, it's just a short trip away. The public system Belize math is honestly as simple as it gets. 2 Belize dollars equals 1 US dollar. It's probably the easiest conversion you'll ever do. So here's what you should know. The currency in Belize is the Belize dollar, or BZD, and it's fixed at 2 Belize dollars to 1 US dollar. You can totally pay in US dollars, but just a heads up, your change will usually come back in Belize dollars. Now, if you're thinking about opening a local account, expect a bit more paperwork than you might be used to in the States. Typically, you'll need your passport, proof of address, proof of income, and 2 bank reference letters. Some banks do let non-residents open accounts, but you'll need stronger documentation and a decent initial deposit. And honestly, approval can take a little while. U.S. credit cards work pretty widely here, but ATM and foreign transaction fees can vary. So definitely check with your bank before you go. As for taxes, Belize has a territorial system. If you're under the QRP, foreign-sourced income isn't taxed in Belize, and permanent residents are only taxed on income that comes from Belize itself. But just so you know, you still have to file with the IRS back in the U.S. Here's a pro tip. Keep a U.S. account for things like pension or Social Security deposits, and use wire transfers or ATMs for local spending until your Belize account is all set up. So, do you ship the sofa, or do you just go all in with the Island Life beanbag? Let's talk about the logistics, because that's where things start to get interesting. So, here's something pretty useful if you're moving under the QRP program. During your first year after QRP approval, you can actually import your household and personal effects duty-free. And yeah, you can make multiple shipments within that year. Now, to get this perk, you'll want to submit a master list to BTB about 3 weeks before you import anything so you can get that exemption letter. When it comes to movers, you might want to price out companies like Allied, Atlas, or Crown, or if you're the DIY type, you could go with a freight forwarder and work with a local customs broker. For vehicles and boats, the QRP perk lets you import one vehicle that's 5 model years old or newer, duty-free. After you properly dispose of that vehicle, you can replace it every 3 to 4 years, depending on which rule you reference. BTB lists a 4-year replacement, but the program PDF mentions 3. So definitely confirm the current policy with BTB before importing. If you're not importing under QRP, just keep in mind that imports are usually subject to some pretty hefty duties and taxes. So really, run the numbers before you ship anything. Shipping costs, honestly, they can vary like crazy depending on a bunch of factors: volume, cubic meters or cubic feet, weight, your origin and destination ports, the shipping method, whether it's container, Ro-Ro, LCL, or even air, plus any extra services like packing, door pickup, or customs clearance. But here are some real numbers I found to help guide you. For household goods or a full move, say for a 2-bedroom home, international movers estimate costs anywhere from $3,500 to $7,500 US dollars for sea freight when shipping from the US to Belize. Next, which is an international moving and freight company, lists rates like a 20-foot container at around $1,841.40 and a 40-foot container at about $3,540.90. If you're doing less than container load, or LCL, it might be around $118.80 per cubic meter for some goods. So if you're sending just a modest load, like a few rooms, boxes, and furniture, but not a full container, your cost might fall somewhere in the $1,000 to $5,000 US dollar range, depending on how much stuff you bring. Now, for car or vehicle shipping from the U.S. to Belize, auto transport companies usually quote between $1,300 and $3,000, depending on the vehicle size, distance, and method, like ro-ro versus container. Next lists in-container car shipping estimates. For example, $2,674 for a sedan. Some vehicle shipping companies in Belize offer different methods, like roll-on, roll-off, flat rack, container, or Lolo. Latin American Cargo, or LAC, handles cars, trucks, and boats using ro-ro, flat rack, container, or Lolo methods to Belize. All Transport Depot in the U.S. offers ro-ro vehicle shipping into Belize City Port. Oh, and just as a real-world example, someone on Reddit shared that shipping a 40-foot container with a vehicle plus personal items was quoted at $8,800 in their experience. Okay, so let's talk about who actually ships stuff to Belize. There are a few types of companies you'll want to know about. First, there are international moving companies or relocators. They handle the full service, including packing, loading, shipping, and even customs clearance. Then you've got freight forwarders or logistics firms. They take care of shipping and coordination, though they might be a bit less hands-on when it comes to packing. There are also car shipping or auto transport companies which specialize in moving vehicles either by container or ro-ro. And finally, customs brokers or local agents in Belize. They're the folks who help with clearance and paying import fees and all that. As for specific companies, Next handles both household goods and car shipping, with options like ro-ro or container to Belize. All Transport Depot Inc. offers ro-ro shipping for vehicles to Belize. A1 Auto Transport is another one that handles car shipping to Belize. Latin American Cargo, or LAC, ships vehicles with options like ro-ro, flat rack, container, or Lolo to Belize. SDC International Shipping takes care of household goods, plus vehicle shipping to Belize. And they mention duty-free import for those with residency or a visa, if the conditions are met. And finally, ShipNext offers ocean freight, container shipping, and more to Belize for both goods and vehicles. Okay, so let's talk about the factors that can change the cost so you don't get stung by unexpected fees. First up, distance and the origin port matter. A shipment from the East Coast of the United States versus the West Coast can make a real difference. Next, the method you choose. Container shipping is secure, ro-ro is often cheaper for vehicles, and LCL is most cost-effective if you're not filling a whole container. Volume and weight are important too. More stuff means you'll need a bigger container or maybe even multiple containers. Packing and crating also add up, especially for fragile items, or if you need custom crates and wood packing. Don't forget about door pickup and delivery, moving things from your house to the port and then to your new home adds ground transport fees. Customs and duties or import taxes can vary depending on your visa or residency status. Sometimes you get exemptions, but sometimes you don't. Delays can also happen, and then you might face demurrage or port storage charges if your goods sit too long at the port. And finally, always ensure your international shipments to protect against damage or loss. For your everyday setup, getting a local SIM for your cell or data is super easy, but make sure you check the coverage in your specific town. When it comes to utilities, electricity is the big one. Just take a look at the rates we mentioned earlier. Water costs are pretty modest, and propane is really common for cooking. As for driving, road conditions can really vary by district. On the islands, you'll see a lot of golf carts, but on the mainland, you'll want a reliable vehicle, especially during the rainy season. So, what's Tuesday like? Well, here's a hint. You might start your morning at the farmer's market and then spend your afternoon exploring a reef or checking out some ancient ruins. Sounds pretty great, right? So English is the official language here, but you'll also hear Creole, Spanish, and Maya languages pretty often. It's kind of a multilingual win, honestly. When it comes to community, expat groups are really active in places like San Pedro, Plasencia, Corozal, and San Ignacio. It's actually pretty easy to make friends, especially if you get involved with volunteer work, beach cleanups, or even dive clubs. Safety here is similar to anywhere else. Just use common sense and do some research on neighborhoods. A lot of retirees, for example, avoid living right in Belize City and opt for nearby areas or islands instead. And, don't forget about hurricane season, which runs from June through November. It's smart to pick a home with sturdy construction and maybe look into storm shutters or insurance, just in case. Blending in isn't really about speaking perfect Creole. It's more about showing respect. Just be polite and patient. Belizeans really value friendliness and a sense of community way more than rushing around. Supporting local businesses instead of importing everything from the United States actually builds a lot of goodwill. And honestly, joining in on celebrations like Independence Day, Garifuna Settlement Day, and village fiestas is a great way to experience the heart of Belizean life. Even though English is the official language, learning just a few phrases in Creole goes a long way toward making friends. And hey, try not to compare everything to the United States. Embrace the differences. Locals can pick up on negativity pretty quickly. So, you've landed. Now what? Here's what you'll want to tackle in your first 30 days. First, register your phone and set up a Belize SIM card. Then, open a local bank account or at least start the process. If you're planning to extend your tourist stay, make sure to visit your local immigration office. Schedule a visit to the nearest hospital or clinic too. It's good to get familiar before you actually need it. Try to connect with local expat groups. Check out Facebook, meetups, or language exchanges, and definitely tour nearby grocery stores, markets, and hardware shops so you know where to find things when you need them. Bringing Fido? Well, you'll need more than just a dog bed and a chew toy. Belize does allow pets, but you'll need a health certificate issued within 14 days of travel, a rabies vaccination certificate, and an import permit from the Belize Agricultural Health Authority, or BA. Be sure to submit all your paperwork 2 to 3 weeks before arrival. Most airlines flying to Belize accept pets in cabin or as cargo. But honestly, plan early because those tropical routes fill up fast. Oh, and here's a pro tip. Many retirees say their pets help them make friends faster. Belizeans really love animals, and it's such an easy icebreaker. Here's your do this then that, so you're not learning the hard way on day one. Before arrival, about 2 to 3 months out, here's what you'll want to do. Choose your path, QRP versus PR. Then gather your documents, police record, income proofs, and certificates. Get apostilles or notarizations where they're needed. Shortlist your towns and book a scouting trip for about 3 to 6 weeks. In your arrival month, open a local SIM and start your bank account file, then meet with your attorney or BTB. Test rent in your chosen area for 30 to 90 days. For QRP, submit your application and map out your shipping within that first year duty-free window. Then, in months 2 through 6, lock in a 6 to 12-month rental and price out the utilities at your new address. Build your care network, find a clinic, dentist, and get insurance. If you're near Corozal, plan a few trips to Chetumal for specialist checkups or those big box errands. Future you texted and, well, they want you to dodge these. Bringing everything you own. Shipping plus humidity equals regret, trust me. Assuming U.S.-style banking speed, get those bank references early. Ignoring electricity costs, AC habits can really blow the budget. Missing the QRP import window or the vehicle age rule, set reminders. And buying before you've lived through a full rainy season in that neighborhood, definitely not recommended. Belize wins when it comes to simple currency, English language, a big lifestyle variety for such a small place, and, honestly, an unusually friendly retirement program. Pick QRP if you want perks and you've got the pension. Pick PR if you want full work rights and a path to citizenship. If you're serious about this, grab my relocation planner, Belize edition. There are checklists for both QRP or PR, budget worksheets with electricity reality, and a master shipping list template. The links below. Hit like, subscribe, and tell me San Pedro, Placencia, Corozal, or Cayo, where are you